Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. I hope you are all doing well. Friday, we play on Sunday. Today it would be too easy to start speaking about the two guys that scored the goals. Dusan Vlahovic with a fantastic brace, and then Chico Conceição with that wonder goal, because yes, we are speaking about a wonder goal and probably about a wonder kid. Gemelli diversi, different twins. This is the title of Tuttosport on their front page, because we see them. We don't need a lot of explanation to actually understand the title. Gemelli diversi. Signor Gol, Mr. Gol is the title of Gazzetta dello Sport. And it would be nice, it would be easy to speak about these two, because these two, they totally deserve to be on the front pages, but I want to go towards totally something different. I want to go towards, first, the Thiago Motta Juventus was born in Leipzig. And how did he do that? First thing, and then I want to go towards Gleison Bremer, because unfortunately that's the huge big news of yesterday. Gleison Bremer season is over, but we need to go forward, we need to continue. So how can we replace him? I have a few solutions that we will speak about in today's video. If you didn't yet, please put a maximum of like, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Ragazzi, continue to comment, thank you for all the support, and I really want to give you something to the people, especially from UK. One Football is partner with Serie A. We know it. We start again with Serie A, match day 7 before the international break. If you didn't yet, please consider really to click the link into the description, because you can do 3 things. Or pick the game that you want to watch on Serie A through One Football, PC, smartphone, whatever you want, really fantastic. Or you can go with the team pass and you don't want to miss that Thiago Motta of Juventus with the Juventus pass, or you can go with the season pass to watch all the games of Serie A. Link is in the description, I count on you. But now we go towards the two topics, Thiago Motta's Juventus that was born and Gleison Bremer. The first thing I really wanted to say is that we said it before the game, we said it after the game, we needed a game like that. Well, actually, except of the Bremer news, it gave us much more that we were thinking. The way of, that's the most important thing, the way of we want unlock something here in our mind of the Tifosi, in our heart of the Tifosi, and I'm convinced in the mind of Thiago Motta, not that much the heart, but the mind of Thiago Motta, but the heart of the players. How did we do it? Well, the first thing is we believe that everything is possible. Everything is possible only at one condition, if we dare. If we dare, like after that 1-1 goal of Dusan Vlahovic before that red card, when he's screaming towards everyone, La vinciamo, we will win it, winning, believing that you can do it. That's the first thing. And then, of course, if you are able at the end to win a game like that, well, it unlocks something. And that's the first thing. You know, it's a bit like when you go back in the past, long time ago, in that 94-95 season, we already started to compare it a bit with Il Gol alla Del Piero. Remember? Because the Gol alla Del Piero, that was not called like that when he did it the first time against Dortmund, was in season 94-95. First game in Champions League, first goal alla Del Piero against Dortmund. And then we know how it finished. Well, in that same season, we also played against Fiorentina. A game that was spectacular, crazy, with that goal from Del Piero. You already watched it, that is coming from the sky, him touching it with one touch from the left side, boom, in that, wow, what a goal. But it's not that much that goal that is important in the game, it's the way how we went up, remontada and winning against Fiorentina in that game. A game that gave a lot of conviction to that Juventus to do the miracle at the end. It's too early to speak about it, but it all starts with believing in something, with something, a magic, something, a moment that at the moment is difficult to judge. But at the end of the season, maybe we will remember Leipzig game as the game where Thiago Motta's Juventus was born. Second thing, and now we go a bit more inside. Thiago Motta, the choices pre-game. Weston McKennie, Fagioli, against everything and against everyone. Against own supporters that were thinking, where is Locatelli? Where is Thuram? Where is Douglas Luiz? Why McKennie? Why Fagioli? Are we sure about Fagioli? It's not because he played a good half against Genoa that he's ready. It's not because Weston McKennie, he renewed his contract that now he needs to start all the games of Champions League. Guys, we have quality. We went on the transfer market and we are playing with Weston McKennie. Why? He won. Work ethic. Conviction that the one that deserves to play in training session, he plays. We are not looking at the ID card. We are not looking at experience. We are not looking at everything. Only one thing we are looking, what they are showing in the training session. That's Weston McKennie. This is why. That run at the 80th minute that is actually starting, that 3-2 goal of Conceição is something that we need to remember. Fantastic Thiago Motta, work and quality division. The talent of Fagioli that I want to come back in a second. And then the most important thing, probably the really most important thing that I already mentioned, but I didn't explain really well. And probably that's where we understand how Thiago Motta Juve was born, or we Juventini to understand the Juve of Thiago Motta. It's 1-1. We are playing away. We are with 10 men. And that's where he sub in Douglas Luiz. You will tell me, Beppe, one of the most expensive transfer. No, he's subbing in Douglas Luiz. At that moment, with 10 men, with a 1-1 against Leipzig that was really dangerous, we could have said, it's okay, 1-1 is okay. You know what? Let's put in Locatelli. Experience, plays horizontal, knows how to sacrifice himself. How many times did we praise Locatelli for that? You know what? Put Thuram, long legs, energy, muscles there in the middle of the field to break every verticalization from Leipzig. Put him. Or put Danilo so that we form a 4-man defense and we park the bus, because that 1-1, that 1 point in Champions League could possibly be super important at the end. No. He put Douglas Luiz. I'm not saying here that he was fantastic, that he did great. No, it's just the intention of playing a guy that in his qualities has holding the ball, and holding the ball normally also in the opposition half. Active possession of football and trying to win that game. Because if you put Douglas Luiz in that game, it's a message that you are sending to the players. It's a message that you are sending to the supporters. Let's go. Andiamo a vincerla. Dai, andiamo, la vinciamo. Let's go. We will win it, like Dusan Vlahovic said. And that's where, guys, we win the game. And that's where Juventus of Thiago Motta is born. Ragazzi, what do you want me to tell you? And if I believe in it, if the supporters believe in it, the most important thing is that the players believe in it. Like Pierre Calulu, that on Instagram said, the type of moments when you understand what it takes to be a bianconero, fino alla fine. Remember, a few weeks ago, people were saying he's not smiling, he's not happy to be at Juve. Well, he understood it. If he didn't understand it before, which I doubt because he knew where he was, well, yesterday morning, he really showed to everyone that he understood what he was, a bianconero. Grande, and welcome officially Pierre Calulu. Thiago, chi sei? Of course, a lot of papers now are speaking about Thiago Motta. Who are you? With the questions, who are you really, Thiago Motta? We need to understand you because we are not sure about who you are. 3 coaches has been linked to him in Gazzetta dello Sport. Gasperini, we know it, he has been a pupillo. He has been a kid of Gasperini. The way of playing of Gasperini, the encyclopedia of Thiago Motta, you open it and you see the hard work of Gasperini. That's something that some players said about the differences between Gasperini and Thiago Motta. Cope Manners especially said, training session, intensity, giving everything, working hard. Every single day you need to work hard. The defensive phase of Mourinho. We are not seeing the defensive phase of Allegri because Thiago Motta has not been coached by Allegri. He didn't work with Allegri, but he worked with Mourinho. And we know that Mourinho is also one of the masters there of the defense. And then that palleggio, the pass, the tiki-taka style of ball possession, having the ball, an active ball of Barcelona going towards Pep Guardiola. That was one of his teammates or coach, I don't remember. Anyway, he worked with Pep Guardiola. Can we add on other people? Guys, I don't want to exaggerate now. Calma, Thiago Motta is Thiago Motta. But when I see him on the bench, screaming, enjoying, going... An Antonio Conte on the bench, can we say that? Let's see, I don't want to exaggerate. You know where I want to exaggerate? With the title of Corriere dello Sport today, Fagioco. Fagioco is a fantastic title. When I read it yesterday night at midnight, I said, how is it possible that I didn't even thought about it? Fagioco. Fagioli, Fagioco. Do game. Show game. Make game. Because that's what he did. I told you yesterday I was with Luca Monblano live on Juventus, and every time that I said Fagioli, Luca Monblano, he stood up. He stood up because the game of Fagioli has been incredible. 62 passes succeeded on 63, but the way that he was playing, one touch, control and pass, stop and go, vision, verticality, grande Nicolo Fagioli. Really grandissimo Nicolo Fagioli. If we were hesitant, if we were not sure how long he would need to be back at his level after 1 year of stop where he said it is my responsibility, I think that we have an answer. Now continuity will be key for Nicolo Fagioli. But unfortunately on Corriere dello Sport they are also telling us ma la Juve perde Bremer per 6 mesi e Nico per 1. We lose Nico Gonzalez for 1 month. Bremer for 6 months, 6-7 months, depends if we are listening to the doctor, ex-doctor of Juve that released an interview on Tuttosport. He says 7 months, so the season is over. We could possibly see him back for the month of May, possibly, hopefully, for the Club World Cup that Juventus will play in USA in June, July, but the season is over. And now, of course, you think, how do you replace Gleison Bremer? The first answer I give you is impossible. You can't replace Gleison Bremer. You can't. It's impossible. First of all, because he is the best defender of Serie A, without any blah 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 blah. I'm Juve fan. I'm BS. No, it's a reality. I would even say that he was even starting to be the best defender of the world. I'm not exaggerating, guys. I had one doubt about Gleison. Can he play in a 4-man defense? Can he be there also the one that is sometimes playing with the ball and starting from the back? Something that I criticized in the beginning of the season of Gleison. But he was also working on that, and he was also super evolving on that, being called up by Brazil. Season is over. You can't replace him. Stop. Basta. So you have 4 possibilities. 1, internal option. B, youth player from the next gen, because we have a next gen for a reason. 3, a free transfer immediately. 4, you wait for January to replace him. We'll go through all these options. The first one, I will immediately go with the youth. Impossible. Stivanello just broke himself. The same way, also for him, they are scared that the season could possibly be over. For Stivanello, forget about it. And even Pedro Felipe, that is a player that I really like, is also injured. So forget about next gen. Now or in a few months, forget about it. So you need to think about first internal, because even if you want to go for a free transfer, you need a few weeks to make it sure that it happens. So what are the internal options? What do we see here? That the starting lineup most logically is giving more playing time to Savona there on the right side, with Gatti, Kalulu in the center of the defense and Cambiaso on the left. That's what we think could be the starting defense for Juve for the next coming games. But of course, we have more than one game. You will have a lot of games. You will have some booked players, so yellow card, then they will not be able to play. Hopefully not. You could have a player that is not really in form, or you need some rotation there. So what is the full package of defenders that we have at disposal today? We have Danilo and Savona that are at the moment seen as right backs. You have Cambiaso, Rui as left backs, even if Cabal can possibly also be played there. And then you have Gatti, Kalulu, and Cabal, 3 center defenders. The quality of this Juve is that a lot of players are versatile. They can play in different positions, like, for example, Danilo, that can play right back, center back on the right, center back on the left, left back, he can play all of them. Then, of course, the difference in quality is something that we need to talk about. But in terms of versatility, where he can play, we can do. What is the first option that we can do after that starting lineup? You can possibly, because we see it, you can remove Danilo from a right back to put him at the center, in that center package with Gatti, Kalulu, and Cabal. And there you will say, okay, we can get over the momentarily, the season-long problem of Gleison Bremer, because we have 4 center defenders. But of course, if you do that, you miss someone on the right side of the field, because Savona alone, it's a big thing. So what can you do when Savona is not playing because he needs to rest, because it's not the game for him? You can go towards that other option. You can possibly put Cambiaso as a right back, something that he already did, with Cabal that is moving as a left back, playing as a left back where we saw him in the beginning of the season. And then you could have a Kalulu Danilo, for example, as center backs, or a Kalulu Gatti, or whatever. This is when Danilo is playing, for example. You can't play him as a right back and Savona need to rest. You have another option, because we have a lot of options. It is to actually put Cabal as a left center back together with Kalulu when Gatti is resting, for example. If it's Kalulu that is resting, you play Gatti with Danilo as a right back, or Savona, and then you stay with Cambiaso as a left back. But there you see a Cabal that can possibly also play as a left back, center back, where Thiago Motta is seeing him. And then you have that hipster crazy movement that some people are starting to rumor. It is actually to put Locatelli in certain games playing as a center back so that you don't move too much the left back position, the right back position, you don't move Kalulu, you have enough players, and then you have a Locatelli that could possibly be a alla Calafiori player, because we know it, a kind of Bonucci-Calafiori mix, a bit more dropping in that field, where he has the long ball possibility and accuracy, where he has the vision, where he also has the possibility to carry the ball and going up, and doing so, you have that Fagioli that we just spoke about that will have much more space, being one of the starters of that midfield. I'm not saying that Locatelli needs to be a starter in the center back of the defense, but if we are looking at internal options, these could be the possibilities for the future at the moment. We have enough players. It will be a matter of who do you rotate, who is available, who is at their peak form, and like a Weston McKennie, who deserves to play during the weekend and during the Champions League games. Then we go towards that option that I told you, the free agents. There are two big names that are available, Sergio Ramos and Matip. If Matip I want to put aside because he just come from a huge big injury, Sergio Ramos, we are watching him on Instagram, he's training like crazy, crazy, like if he was prepared to do a bit what Szczesny did, retiring, non-officially for Sergio Ramos, but being ready if someone called him, if something would happen in a team. Look, Sergio Ramos is hated by a lot of people that are anti-Real Madrid. Sergio Ramos is a player that I always said, Mamma mia, he's annoying me, he's frustrating me. But if I have the possibility of having Sergio Ramos at Juventus, I will love him, because he's the typical player that if you have in your team, you love him so much. So if Sergio Ramos would come to Juve, ragazzi, I would be extremely happy. Not to be the starter, I want Gatti, Kalulu to be the starters, but to give some experience, to give some possibility, to give actually some changes and some rotation, to play these kind of 15, 20 games at Juve until the end of the season, and I would be happy. Then, of course, my rational mind is thinking, Beppe, hey, do really need a player like Sergio Ramos. Not because he's 38 or not because I'm not counting on him for 90 minutes per game for the entire season of the remaining part of the season, but do we really need someone that is really huge in terms of name, in terms of impact, in terms of how you look at a player, the standing of a player? Do we need it in a team that is going to a phase of reborn, to a phase where a lot of young players are fighting for a spot, where a lot of people they believe, where we put aside a lot of ego, etc., where there is one word that is extremely important, Thiago Motta, Juventus, is the team. And then I'm thinking, maybe not, and that's why Juventus is also thinking, I think, at the moment, do we really need to go for that, and changing a bit the balance of the atmosphere of the locker room. You know what, let's try to do internal solution until January, where on January we could possibly go again on the market. Who is there on the market? Well, we have a player that we already discussed about in the summer. It is Hato from Ajax. He's a really young but really good prospect for the future. Hato could be a possibility. There is Lacroix from Crystal Palace. There are a few other names like Kivior. So these possibilities, these possible players could reinforce Juventus in option 3, that is, option 4, that is actually going for a free transfer market. No, free. Sorry, I repeat because I went totally crazy. These players are possibly a move of Cristiano Giuntoli in January. It's a bit of pity, I have to admit. Why? Because I told you a few days ago that Cristiano Giuntoli would have gone on the market for an extra striker, and probably with a bit more money to have a valid striker in January. Now that we need to go for an extra defender, well, that money that you have, that budget, you will have to split it in two. But I'm totally convinced that you will not go for only one player, so a striker, whatever, but you will go for and a striker and a defender in January. So will Juventus activate themselves earlier or not? At the moment, this is not what they are saying. At the moment, Juventus, they want to wait a bit, try a few situations, and then possibly go in January. Hopefully, we can do that, because if we are able to do that, that means that the players that are involved are doing also really well. Not to replace Bremer, because it's impossible to at least to try to help the team in defensive phase. Grazie for the video, or at least, no, grazie for you watching the video. Don't forget to put a maximum of like, continue to subscribe, grazie forza. Juve.